Hi guys,
Well, people
I'm
know
Milena,
Lola.
and I don't think anybody could understand what you just said.
Lola.
For the last episode, if somebody didn't know her name.
If you did not, don't no point in learning it now.
True. We're watching the last episode of Black Sails.
Nothing to tell you, nor do I have time to tell you anything. We just talked about episode 9.
We we're gonna film the review after a few days when we come down. So this is just gonna be the reacting to the last episode, watching the last episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be taking everything in, and I hope that we're fine after this. I hope that we can function after this. There's only an hour and 10 minutes that we have not seen.
Yeah.
And this is the last time.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to see
I'm
where
very excited.
Yeah, like, yes, we talked that we are sad. Of course, we are sad. We're finishing one of my favorite shows at this point. But, like, at the same time, we're excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I want to see the story of all the characters. Like, can't wait to see.
I want to see all of them.
Of course, at least me, talk the most about Flint. But at the same time, I want to see this how it wraps up. So I want to see Anne, Max, Jack, everybody's story, you know? Like, I want to see all of them in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch all of it.
Yeah. Look, without further ado, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just play.
Yeah.
We cannot prolong it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not bad, honestly.
no, I might.
Very sad. And excited.
I don't know what picture I'm seeing there.
Jack.
Do you think in the recap they're gonna have what families in London?
I think so, yeah.
That's gonna be a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm gonna be shocked if that's not the case, honestly.
Yeah, I think me
Kind of
too.
expected.
Me too.
I'm just wondering if we're gonna see Thomas or is it gonna be mystery?
I just feel like as this whole show is like, it's maybe.
Maybe I
Like,
don't think
maybe
we're gonna see.
it's a story. Maybe we
I
will.
still think kind of the same. Like, we talked about
Oh,
it. Depending on if he's gonna hope for him.
Yeah. Let's see
Okay.
it.
So let us assume that the measuring of you and your proposal are done.
When Anne was recruiting spies in Port Royal,
We've seen the
she met
last
a man with an estate in the
Of
West.
course not.
This man found it profitable to offer his services to wealthy families.
I want to hear you say it.
Oh, the intro.
What's to be done
No intro.
with the unwanted ones?
What?
The men who do not fit, whom civilization must prune from the vine to protect its sense of itself. Every culture since earliest antiquity has survived.
I'm too shocked now, honestly.
Defining itself by the things it excludes. Sooner or later, one must answer the question, what becomes of them? In London, the solution is to call them criminals, to throw them in a deep, dark hole and hope it never runs over.
That is not what I asked.
Who's this?
That's the
guy.
That's the guy. Yeah.
And the only way I can protect them is to ensure that once they walk through these gates, their anonymity is protected too. Here they must
Okay.
cease to
He
be.
is
think he's
questioning if
questioning
there
to
is,
find out if there is,
like John
I
asked for
already
that.
said, I'm not an enemy of his, nor is the man who sent me.
Yes, and I believe you when you say it, but still.
Do you know where I come from, sir?
No, I don't.
I come from Nassau. I come on behalf of Don John Silver. Is the prisoner we are looking for here? Or isn't he?
Clock. The clock.
I cannot believe it. Honestly, I cannot fucking believe it.
Like the clock ran out and Miranda was
Yeah,
killed,
man.
but the clock rings out and
Okay.
you have to be like deranged to shoot men who are running away from you.
When we make our landing, pass word to the men I need Flint alive.
What of the others, my lord?
There are no others.
I hope you know this is the island where you're also dying.
Jack.
Bring them out!
I think they're giving the warning
okay.
that something is coming. They're seeing something coming. You have something in common. Flint, they're gonna shoot at you as well.
Make ready to take on survivors.
Like, realistically, what does this woman know what Flint looks like? Just bring any dead body.
If a ship full of redcoats fight through a ship with pirates and somehow get past Long John Silver. I don't know if you've noticed, but this is considerably better luck than you and I have experienced. And yet somehow I get the sense you and I are possessed of different instincts as to how to react to this. I'll throw him in a sack, sail away from here, let the Guthrie woman and her lawyers deal with the governor and be alive tomorrow.
He's headed for open water.
I noticed he has everything he came for. He told me you brought the cash to ransom for her life.
It's in the ground. Ashore. I'm the only one who knows where. It comes out when Marty is safe. When the governor is dead or captured. And when we are ready to return together to the camp to resume the war to which we all committed ourselves, then, and only then, can you live with that?
She runs or she wants room to fight this out?
He'll never stop until we're all hanging in his square. Unless we defeat him today, together.
One last
Get us underway.
hurrah.
And ready the guns.
The only captain.
Exactly is on the agenda. Where did you go? Before we discuss anything else, I want to know where you went.
I went to Philadelphia to see Joseph Guthrie.
You went to see Joseph Guthrie?
I presented him with a plan to join our cause.
What did he say?
He politely passed and remained to be tended to in the city. Now that we're all caught up, might we agree there are more pressing issues at
Well,
hand?
we said
Namely what we intend
some
to
of
do
the
from here.
story.
I intend to assume command here, pursue the governor and capture his ship whole.
Without the guns. Why would
It
you?
will put Marty's life at greater risk. Securing her alive is all that matters today. Return her, him, and the cash back to the camp intact, along with the governor defeated and in chains, and news of it will travel far and wide. The war will be fully, undeniably, and maybe unstoppably underway. Victory here today changes everything.
See?
You cannot honestly believe that placating me is going to repair what's been broken here. I absolutely think that it is repairable. What exactly is it you think you're doing? I know what it's like to have lost her, and then seeing a way to have her back. I understand what that must have felt like. You asked me once what I would do, what I would sacrifice if it meant having Thomas back again. I honestly don't know what I would have done. I honestly couldn't say I wouldn't have done what you did. I told you I'd see you through this. Put things back together again so that we can move forward. I meant it.
Who is it? I swear to fucking God.
Please no. I was so conflicted about all this when it began.
You fucking
I
lost
knew
your
it would be
mind.
difficult to separate them. They'd grown so close it was hard to know where one ended and the other began. When what I wanted was to remove Flint, and I saw no other way.
She's not a priest to listen to your confessions.
I've just done. There's no coming back from that. There is no difference between Flint and Silver now, or between Flint and any of them. They are all enemies of mine. I believe they are outmatched today. I believe at the end of the day there will be no more of them left alive. But if somehow they are able to prevail today against this,
My girl, do you have like something?
fight their way through the British soldiers above, through the governor, through me, I will ensure that at the end of it all, when they walk through this final door, there is defeat awaiting them.
You think killing me means defeat for them? You would have given them a martyr to unite them.
I was about to say. Okay.
She fucking needs
Yeah.
no rock or knife. Because after that, John, war on the world.
I mean,
I'm going.
I mean, the second that he thought he lost her, he was like, let her not die in vain.
The captain suggests Eurydice is likely lying in wait beyond that headland. We should take measures to prepare for it. In the meantime,
John already knows.
why don't you tell me what the fuck you're actually doing here? You presented a plan to the Guthrie family to bolster piracy in Nassau, with Max at your side. I sincerely doubt you go along with any plan that promise support for the account.
Because there was something in the air between you and your friend up there. It's just tension
between steadfast partners or something else? We could suffer under the weight of our respective questions. Would you like to start trading answers?
There's an answer. You both want him gone.
I would like him to choose it.
I know.
Because he got the question. What he would do if he knew that he could see Thomas again. Exactly.
The thing is, the guy is not gonna be able to answer him. Before he's not have to make that choice, you know what I mean?
So? Oh,
How is he gonna know? I mean, he can tell him maybe. Because like, he's not gonna know the answer.
I thought maybe he knew the
Oh, I don't
answer.
know, maybe I was just like thinking this is happening like
in the meantime.
like, yeah.
I thought that was before.
Okay.
I thought that
I don't think he has that information at all.
Okay.
The way they're fighting, there's gonna be no ship to go away from. We're gonna fucking have to live on this treasure island.
Ready the rest of the men. You leave them over the stern. Pull them at the helm. Just get them ready.
Everyone on board, get below decks. Find the body.
Where are you?
I don't know, I fully believe him. Interesting, oh my god, interesting.
He is in Treasure Island. So
No, he's a story in Treasure Island.
He's a story in Treasure Island, so he could die.
Yeah, he could, I know.
Some situations are just miracles as to how he is alive.
You good at that? Now.
How does anyone survive anything here, honestly?
Oh, what, it's gonna be a fight between Billy and Flint?
Yeah, I'm certain. Oh my god. I feel like Billy's gonna fall into the water. And it's the same thing. Is he dead or is he alive? It's the same fucking thing, but this time he pushed him. He definitely pushed him. Why are you even fighting? Just try to push each other off. Like, what is this? Why are we...
Oh
my god, he's gonna fall into the fucking water. He might like still cling on, and this one just pushes him. Ah! Ah! That is a bad move. Exactly. But I think beneath him is like, it's the same fucking thing. This is fucking poetic.
It's gonna be bummed. But like he's trying to take him with him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I expected. What a fucking moment.
And you're never gonna know either way. Again, how fascinating.
But I didn't want to have a scene where Flint outright kills him.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. Faster.
What are you doing down here? Are you a fucking coward?
He's done.
That's what he did in the first episode.
You had a prisoner here. Is she still alive?
No words. What the fuck? What the fuck? I can't believe this, honestly.
I can't do it now. She's alive. Maybe they can kill him together because Jack is not a... He is a very good fighter. Jack cannot like handle that realistically by himself.
See what I mean? Remember Blackbeard?
Don't worry. No one's going under the ship today. The thought had crossed my mind.
Seemed uncivilized.
I'm quite certain I can do better than that.
Time is of the essence for what happens next. Captain Rackham will ferry you back to the camp aboard the Lion to relay the news.
I'd like to stay, actually, to help see the chest secured properly.
They have a plan, something?
Featherstone can steer back aboard the Eurydice.
He knows.
Let's go.
God, he knows, and you know he knows, and like everyone fucking knows. Except me. What you don't know is that he's not gonna kill you, he'll send you somewhere. Potentially where Thomas is.
We'll rest up here.
I can keep going.
We'll rest here. We won't be going any further. I won't take another step towards that chest until I know for certain that I'm wrong about what I suspect is happening here.
I don't know what you're talking about, Xander.
I'll show you the chest. The chest is brought out of the ground. I don't know what then exactly, but I doubt it involves returning it to the camp as planned. Am I wrong? Tell me I am and we'll continue on our way.
This war. Your war. Her war. Julius will be no obstacle to it. As long as you and she stand for it. As long as the treasure powers it. Nothing can stop it from beginning now.
Nothing but you. Why would you want to do that?
This is what it would be. Time after time after time. The measuring of lives, and loves and spirits. Such that they may be wagered in a grand game. How many casualties can be tolerated for a cause? How much loss? That isn't a war. That is a fucking nightmare. And I cannot take a single step towards leaving this forest until I know it's over.
This is how they survive. You must know this. You're too smart not to know this.
They paint the world full of shadows and then tell their children to stay close to the light. Their reasons, their judgments. Because in the darkness, there be dragons, but it isn't true. We can prove that it isn't true. In the dark, there is discovery. There is possibility. There is freedom. In the dark, once someone has illuminated it, and who has been so close to doing it as we are right now?
This isn't about England, or our freedom, or any of it. When I thought Marley was gone, I saw, for the first time, I saw the world through your eyes. A world in which there is nothing left to lose. But beneath all of that, I recognized the other thing, hiding in the spaces. The one whose shape you first showed me. And when asked, it was honest about the role it wanted to play. It was rage. And it just wanted to see the world burn. I see a life for myself with her. And I will not live it wondering if tomorrow is the day your nightmare finally takes her away for good.
So what next then? What decisions have you made about what our tomorrows will be?
I made arrangements. To ensure that when we leave here, it is with compromises in place that will diffuse any threat of widespread rebellion.
All this will be for nothing. We will have been for nothing. Defined by their history, distorted to fit into their narrative. Until all that is left of us are the monsters in the stories they tell their children.
I don't care.
You will. Someday you will. Someday, even if you can persuade her to keep you, she'll no longer be enough. proof that you mattered and finding none, you'll know that you gave it away in this moment, on this island, left it in the ground, along with that chest.
This is not what I want. But I will stand here with you for an hour, a day, a year, while you find a way to accept this outcome, so that we might leave here together. Or if not, then I must end this another way.
The real baby is dead. What? Yeah.
Captain Flint is gone. Gone where? Retired from the account. He was persuaded that his efforts were no longer viable, that those closest to him had grown tired. He then chose to walk away from it all. He's no longer a concern about it.
Sounds somewhat less definitive an end than I'd expected.
But far more effective. Flint had allies who would have only been emboldened by his death. Some of whom, had they the desire, could and would have fought his war without him, to honor his memory. Instead of a martyr, we have feted a story, a tragedy that diffused their fighting spirit, a treaty, its terms conceived by Governor Rogers, its terms agreed to by the Maroon leaders, over a few scattered objections.
Yeah.
I can tell you whatever it is you want to hear about Flint's whereabouts. He's dead. He's retired. The truth of it matters not at all. The truth is there will be no Maroon War in the West Indies because the Maroons themselves have agreed to it. All that remains, then, is for you to purchase Woods Rogers' debts.
You asked for proof of Captain Flint's removal. I cannot give it to you, but this is a meaningful assurance that the pirate threat is no more. You asked for a governor I would call husband. I cannot give that to you either. But I have given you a candidate whose trustworthiness I can guarantee.
Oh God, idiots.
You want me to administer Nassau? These are the terms under which it will happen. They are the best I can offer. Are they acceptable to you?
Small favor to ask before the ink dries on whatever it is you've agreed upon. Once the demand for repayment has been made and his default recorded and the warrant sworn, there will be a trial. And at that trial, the court will solicit affidavits from his creditors. Affidavits that will shape the official narrative of the default, the humiliation. For a man like Woods Rogers, I suppose what I'm asking is, once the time comes to submit that affidavit, I'd so love to help you write it.
Leave.
No.
The chiefs from the other camps will be leaving shortly, along with the pirate crews. The war is over.
Yes.
I don't know why you did this, but I know you did this. Sent me away from that island so I would not see it. Emboldened Julius so I could not oppose it. Orchestrated it. Don't you dare insult me by denying this.
Flint's war can only have one result. A life of loss and misery and fruitless sacrifice. I had to stop it.
You had to stop it.
And I'm not sorry for it. I lost you once. I would not do it again. Captain Flint didn't retire from this. It was important that they heard that. But they didn't know him like you do. I won't insult you by repeating it.
He trusted you. He was your friend. And you killed him.
No. I did not kill Captain Flint. I made him. The man you know could never let go of his war. For if he were to exclude it from himself, he would not be able to understand himself. So I had to return him to an earlier state of being, one in which he can function without the war, without the violence. Captain Flint was born out of great tragedy. You know this. I found a way to reach into the past and undo it. There was a place near Savannah where men unjustly imprisoned in England are sent in secret, an internment far more humane, but no less secure. Men who enter these gates never leave them. To the rest of the world, they simply cease to be.
I don't believe you. I don't believe this. Flint would have fought to the death before allowing it.
And then I told him what else I had heard about this place. I was told prominent families amongst London society made use of it. I was told the governor in Carolina made use of it. So I sent a man to find out if they used it to hide away one particular prisoner. Thomas Hamilton was there. He disbelieved me. He continued to resist. Corralling him to great effort. But the closer we got to Savannah, his resistance began to diminish. I couldn't say why. Perhaps he'd finally reached the limits of his physical ability to fight. Or perhaps, as the promise of seeing Thomas go closer, he grew more comfortable letting go of this man he created in response to his loss. The man whose mind I had come to know so well. His mind and in some ways incorporated into my own. It's a strange experience to see something from it. So unexpected. Just to believe it. Because there wasn't a man I'd come to know at all. The one who existed beforehand. I came from a long and terrible nightmare. Reorienting to the daylight. And the world as it existed before he first closed his eyes. Letting the memory of the nightmare fade away.
I cannot do this. I cannot believe this. Like,
you may think what you want of me. I would draw comfort in the knowledge that you are alive to think it.
You sent men to investigate this place.
Yes.
we're never gonna know this is the truth. We're just never gonna know.
And he did this and returned to Nassau. All before the Spanish arrived.
Yes.
You didn't just betray my trust. You have planned to betray all that time. Get out.
But I will stay. I will wait.
Like, well, you'll do what she tells you to do.
A day. A month.
And the same thing he told me, right?
A year. Forever. In the hopes that you will understand why I did what I did.
A story is true. A story is untrue. As time extends, it matters less and less. The stories
we want to believe. Those are the ones that survive. Those are the stories that shape history. And then, what does it matter if it was true when it was born? It's found truth in its maturity, which, if a virtue in man, ought to be no less so for the things men create. As this relates to your question specifically, I appreciate your indulging me.
No need. I was drawn in.
And this is a character as well.
Story. It's a hard one to know. The men who believe most deeply in it.
I'm glad. Nice.
And those who stood to benefit most from it.
Is that what they trained?
So all that remains of any of it.
Oh,
There is a passing resemblance to the world the rest of us live in.
so happy about this.
A world we survived.
And I can't.
The pirates.
The pirates.
A world that is no more.
There are still men on the account under the blessing of the governor. I hear he allows for it, as long as it helps drive up prices for merchants here. I hear he allows you to continue the practice. That's why I came.
He's the governor.
Two things you must know if you're going to be spending time here with us. One, the governor. Lovely man, dear friend.
Is it?
Be
Yes, I knew.
Nice.
long last, bringing law and order to Nassau. Let's just say he had some help. And the true power here is a little more complicated than that.
Idiots.
And two,
Idiots.
there is, by law, strict enforcement of the administration. No piracy, not anymore. It's critical for commerce. This is known to the world.
This is
Meet
not
me at the
the
jetty. Are we ready to depart?
Oh, I can't do it anymore.
Don't remember talking about bringing on new people. Mark. Mark Lee.
Is that a famous name? I'm sure it is.
You could be more welcoming to new people.
They're so dumb.
Would it hurt?
Planning on bringing them all on?
All of who?
Well, the fools that avert you may know where to find Captain Flint's treasure. I think you may go looking for it again. The ones I worry might just convince you to do it.
I've had Captain Flint's treasure. It never ends well. Rather than rush off after it again, maybe let's just do this a while longer.
The guy said enjoy it until you leave it.
Is that it?
Oh, let us see.
I still don't understand what was wrong with what we had.
Because what's it all for if it goes unremembered? It's the art that leaves the mark. But to leave it, it must transcend. It must be true.
Get us underway.
It's the only part of the flag I know.
No. One more scene. One more scene. God.
Don't play a trailer for like a psycho thriller. What the fuck do you mean? Give me a second. I hate Netflix.
So glad
but
we
the
don't have to
way-
talk about it right now.
But the way they have left that open.
Nothing open to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
They literally gave it on screen.
sure, but like it still might be
No.
a
No.
story.
No. I love how they done it.
Because like, you know, when he says like, I'm not the villain that he was, and this whole time was like, is he gonna descend into like where Flint was? And so like, do you choose to believe that he did, or to choose to believe that he didn't?
No, 100%. 100%. No, it would make no sense. I'm not saying just because I want it to happen.
But do you not think they left it open?
Sure, you can, like, because like they did put afterwards this story with Jack. He's talking
that,
about
like,
the
stories are
stories.
true, stories are
Sure,
not
you
true.
can, like, you can believe it, but like with the characters that I know, this is a story where I think they would where the story would lead naturally, if you know what I mean. This is a story where we thought about is gonna happen.
No,
you know?
I agree. It's just, again, this whole
It's
show
nice.
is about fucking stories.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
nice
So,
how
like,
it's done. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, it's nice how it's done.
I have more to say.
And how it was represented. Yeah, of course. Of course.
I need to gather my thoughts.
We will. We don't have time at all. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye. Hi, guys.
Hello.
We're back. We are reviewing the last episode of Black Sails.
It hasn't been that long. Watched it 2 days ago.
Yeah, and we have watched the
2 days
whole
ago.
show.
That whole day, my God.
I just want to say that, like, I read a comment that somebody said, please, I think it would be so cool if for Milena and Lola to react to the first episode of season 1 if Milena hasn't already started. She has started it that night. She has started it that night.
No, literally.
She has watched the first episode that night and she has cried. I don't know, but like I want to say that seeing Eleanor made me most emotional. She was a fucking baby.
Oh, no, I like that whole day. Like, you don't understand. We just finished the episode. The second that we finished it, we looked at the clock and we realized we need to run to the airport. And I'm driving to the airport and I am like and my eyes.
We called each other on but like the whole day my eyes were swollen.
Like they kept stinging. My eyes kept stinging from the tears, and every few minutes I just kept wanting to cry more and more. We picked people up at the airport and I had to go out that night, and my friend, bless her, texted me and she was like, I don't feel like going, and I was like, thank God. Thank God, let's just not.
No, honestly.
So I can sit and cry.
I didn't have time for that. Like, honestly, the whole day, like, I was just with my friend and her family the entire day. And, like, didn't have 5 minutes. Like, my eyes were swollen, but, like, didn't have 5 minutes to think about it, you know? Until that night when I watched the first episode of season 1.
She texted me the picture of Flynn's face. I mean, just his eyes.
I just like his eyes.
And you do not understand immediately. I immediately started crying.
Then I should have texted you, Eleanor, because that is the moment when I started crying.
I wouldn't have needed much.
She was a fucking baby.
You could have sent a picture of bushes, I feel like,
I
from
know.
like the
and I felt very emotional seeing Max as well. Honestly, very emotional. I don't know, just like somehow the sheer difference. Like,
where
for
they
example,
where they are.
Yeah, for example, I didn't recognize John. I don't know how to explain that. Like, I saw John, I didn't recognize him.
He has also like he has also physically, I feel like, changed
so much.
Like when they added
changed.
like a beard and a bit of a long hair. I mean, that is his look.
Yeah,
he should keep that. Like, I feel like he has changed physically most.
Yeah. It was interesting seeing that, and then Anne and Jack, kids. All of them, like, I know it's been 4 years, but like somehow I've been so much with them during those 4 seasons that, like, when I see them in the beginning, kids, fucking children, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
God. So yeah, that's something to tell you about.
I cannot believe we're done, guys.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, again, I've had this show in my mind for like 7 years, 8 years. I don't even know. Like, when did we start reacting to Vikings? It's been
like
a bit.
A long time. I feel
like I think all the comments during our reactions to Vikings have been like a lot about Black Sails.
I mean, yeah.
And so like I had it always in my mind as something to watch, and it just like never happened. And when like we did watch the first episode, I mean, I watched the first episode and you watched the second and third as well. And like we never continued with it. And like I cannot believe it's the same thing that we did with like Breaking Bad. We watched that first episode and it was just like, I guess not time, place, whatever, and never picked it up again. Only to pick it up here and for it to become what it did become. Incredible.
Which is one of our favorite shows of all time.
Yeah.
One of my really like the dearest shows with one of my favorite characters. No, honestly, like this show is 100% top 5 for me. Like, I don't know which ones I'm gonna push out, but like I'm gonna push them out. You know what I mean?
I'm like my top 5 consists of 7 shows, and like I don't want anyone to tell me anything about it.
Yeah, like if I need to, this one has to be in top 5, has to be in top 3. I don't know.
You're
Like
gonna move whatever you need to move.
whatever I need to move. There are some shows that can be moved, you know.
Yeah.
But like this, there are some shows that like I'm gonna do this and just like.
Which ones?
I don't know, but like just do that and pretend that like it didn't just do that, you know.
Yeah, I get it. So I mean, everyone was right. I hope you're happy. Everyone was right to fight so much for this show.
Feel a bit sad, but like happy at the same time.
No,
Honestly.
I just like I really the way I'm jealous of everyone that has not seen this.
Yes, but
The
like
way
again,
I'm
I always say that like I just think the rewatch is sometimes as, if not even better than the first time we
Again,
watch
you pick
something.
up so many details in this show, places so many details. I
Exactly.
think.
So like just watching the first episode, I feel like I had more time than watching for the first time. I feel like it was different experience. So like I'm gonna enjoy my second watch. So
Did you
much.
just watch the first episode
Just
so
watch
far?
it. And I don't know, I'm going to see my brother for a few days, so like I'm not gonna have time now to watch the second episode, but like I'm excited whenever I find time to watch it, you know. As soon as I got back, then every day is gonna be Black Sales Day. It's not gonna be like here, like 2 days a week. No, every day
it's
gonna
a binge.
Black Sales Day.
I don't even know where to start, guys. What an incredible finale. What a stunning way to just end the whole fucking
perfect.
show.
If you ask me, this was like a perfect finale for this type of a show.
Nothing I would have
Like,
changed.
Nothing. Made me emotional, made me cry. Like the story fit perfectly with everything.
All the time when I finish a show for the final time, I want to finish it and to feel peace. Like however it ends, like it can be sad, it can be happy, whatever it is, I just need to be like at peace with the way it ended.
Completely agree.
And it felt cathartic.
Yeah. Where's the start?
I don't know. Do we talk about the fact that that the way that they did the ending was like ambiguous? Like with the fact that much like this whole show, like the way that the show has always functioned, and we have talked about this like a couple episodes back as well, is that it's a type of show that is all about perspectives in a way. I have never watched a show that feels more like you're a part of it. I can't explain it. But it just feels like that you're like one character in it. And you get all of these points of view, and neither of them are right, neither of them are wrong. It is what it is. And that's the way that the show has been structured all this time, and you get a lot of freedom in what you want to think about many things. Like they don't really set a lot of things in stone. You can just watch it the way you watch it. And for them to end it also in such a way where you are left with multiple options about how this actually ended, whether you're going to trust John's story or you're not going to trust John's story. Completely up to you. Because everything was just a story from the start. And that's how it ended.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
That's
my favorite part also of John's character. You know, like that, like at the end of the day, it was just somehow a story, which is very interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like John's character is much more interesting than I initially thought it was gonna be. I don't know how to explain that. Like, did I always care for him? Sure. But like story as a whole of his character is something like I haven't seen, in my opinion, ever. Which is like a bit different than things that I have saw. Like his character is made up from a story to fit other perspectives, you know, and,
like
things.
It's somehow as if you are John Silver in a way, because like to create his character you have to do a lot of the work, let's say. Like they don't give you a backstory. Like they just tell you, you know, bad
because
things
it doesn't
happen
matter.
And the world is a bad place. And so like there's so much room with that. And again, the way that anyone watches any show, you're just gonna watch it through your own eyes and as who you are as a person, you know? And so like through those eyes, you're gonna see John's character as well. Like you're gonna fill in those spaces that are left open.
I mean, the way that you understand him, the way that you see how he is, what he would do, how he would do it, and things like that.
Yeah, and like what you want from him.
Yeah, which is where you see his character end up.
Yeah.
And no, honestly, in my opinion, very fucking interesting.
No, it is. It's fascinating to me, John's character of this. Like, this whole show, I don't think I've ever seen in any show, really, a character like John.
I agree. Here and there, but like, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's
because,
just...
like, in my opinion, even from episode 1, we had somehow, in many situations, see the story from his perspective. He is an outsider. He is the person who comes there, who he saw the opportunity he was about to take, and he played his part, his role, the way he wanted in the beginning. But somehow we met the other characters, what they would do, somehow through his eyes, in a way, you know, from the beginning. But like, again, the thing about him is that we never found out his past, but like, because like he said, it doesn't define him. It doesn't define his actions in the future. Like, it's just a life that he sees like as a horror in some ways, you know, like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he was like, those things, it's like, it's not like it took motivation from it. It's not what made me. I am just simply now who I am. There is nothing I can tell you about my past that like this now influenced me in any of my moves.
Yeah. And I hope that like with the things that I tell you can trust me. Like that, like you know, like
that's enough.
That without that you can still trust me.
Yeah. And in this episode, like there's so many things that happened. And like, again, the most important thing is with Flint and like their relationship. And
it's
like,
one of my favorite things of the show, honestly.
Yeah.
Like both of their characters and how their lives intervened together, you know.
Yeah.
And how their relationship became what it was for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very interesting, in my opinion. Again, another relationship like not like many others.
Honestly. No, you can't even like half the time you're like thinking they're gonna kill each other. And then half the time you think they're gonna die for each other. And like, it's very complicated. And so in this episode, of course, the continuation of the previous one is that like still their conflict does not end because they want different things. Like Flint still wants the gold to continue fighting this war, and like John does not want to. Like, he got Maddie, he saved Maddie, and then he saw her face while she was looking at Flint there, and like how happy she was for the fact that he was there and they could fight this battle that John does not want to be fought because like he wants to protect Maddie's life. And so like immediately you know that Flint is right now an obstacle to saving Maddie, and he like prioritizes Maddie's life. And so when they started going on that island to get the gold, I mean, like everyone immediately knows what's happening, and Flint immediately knows what's happening.
What he did, the way he stopped the war, it's so interesting because, like, in my opinion, the decision that he made, so fucking interesting. I don't know how to explain that. Like, I would say that he's a villain of many stories here in this show at the end.
Yeah.
Because he made a decision that cost so maybe nothing, you know, but he made a decision. He took an option, took a choice from so many people.
Yeah. He made a choice in the name of so many people.
In the name of so many people that lives were already had so many obstacles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he just did a very selfish thing. Like, he just did a very selfish thing. And again, I mean, we knew that in episode 8 already. Like, when he wanted to give up the gold for Maddie's life. Like, that's where his priority lies. It was not with the war.
Do you not make a bit of a difference between those two situations? Because I do.
Like, afterwards, now that he got Maddie and... I mean, yeah, sure, but like, I didn't expect it to go any other way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Okay. I just want to say that like I was saying so many times that like I personally in that situation would react like John Silver, which I still agree with. In the first situations few episodes ago.
Yeah.
This decision is different to me. When he wanted to give the gold for Maddie's life in that moment, Maddie's life was in immediate danger. He didn't want to risk it. You know, like Maddie was on the boat about to be executed in front of his eyes, and he decided to give the gold. Makes absolute sense to me. I mean, this other choice makes sense to me. It's not like it's not something that like I would say I would expect, but like it's not something that like I think right now that like I would do.
Yeah.
Because like that is different to me, because he took away Maddie's choice. I remember in the previous episode, not the last one, when she, even though that's the thing that like I was thinking throughout the whole season, whenever Billy talked to John about Maddie, he always said Flint is gonna do this stuff. That's Flint's war. That's Maddie's war, and that was Maddie's war from the beginning. That's her people's war. You know.
Yeah.
And he took that decision from her.
Yeah.
To protect her. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want to say, because like I said in the previous episode that I would do the same thing. This is not the same decision for me.
Yeah.
You know.
But like it was so very clear that that's where he's gonna go. Like it was not surprised. There was no point. We all know that Maddie's gonna want to continue this war, and like there was no point. There was not part of me that thought that John was gonna like, let's say, go with that, because I think he even said it, like he has lost her and he's not gonna do that again. Like he saw like the reason that he now saved her, he is not gonna lose her again. But just because like you force her then into what you want, like I'm just like thinking, if I was Maddie, I like nothing in me would ever be able to forgive him. Like however much you understand it, I like there's something I really hate about someone making that choice for you.
But like she didn't have choice. Her and her people didn't have choices, didn't have freedom, didn't have anything their entire lives.
Yeah.
And now John Silver comes.
Yeah.
And takes another choice, battle for her own life. The way she wants it, and takes it away from her.
Yeah.
The only difference is before this episode, when he talked about if he's gonna do that, I said that like I'm gonna hate him if she doesn't know. Mm-hmm. The difference is that she does know, and she was brokenhearted.
Yeah.
When she found out, I remember she even said like that she's brokenhearted because he planned it. He planned it from the start to do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so like he betrayed her knowingly even before. It wasn't just like in a moment, you know?
Yeah.
He planned to betray her. And she was brokenhearted. But like whether she's gonna forgive him or not, that's her decision.
Again, that's left for the audience as well. Like that is again an open ending. And like we saw them there at the end, just like staring at each other. And like, you know, they are there, but there's distance. And like, you go with that. Like, you can think about that, what you will think. Again, like for me, in my mind, Maddie she had so much of that burden on her, and that's like what made her. And so like, I don't think you can get past something like that, because like, you're not just, let's say, a girl in love. You were basically gonna be queen, and you were gonna fight to protect your people. You had a much bigger responsibility. And so like with you being brought up in such a way and like feeling that way, I don't know how you would ever truly fully forgive. I feel like she would always want to, but it's just gonna be difficult. Plus I'm not sure whether she trusts his story. Just like, because like there was a face that she made when he was telling the story also about Flint that I'm not sure, like, because he did break her trust in the way of like forcing her into this, because he broke her trust in this way, then now whatever he says, however this story goes, it's always gonna be a bit of a question mark for her whether that is one more of John's story or if that is the truth.
Again, what I just want to say is before that, I personally as well don't see that relationship ever being repaired. First, yes, she has this obligation over her people, but I still think it's also because of the life that she have had. Her whole life she has been raised under these conditions. The first time she wanted to fight for her life and for lives of all their people, and she trusted him completely. They were a team. And he took that choice and that opportunity away from her. I just, with the life that she has led, I just don't see the possibility of that relationship ever being repaired.
Even if it is
even if it's
even
just
if they're,
the girl
let's say,
in life
together or something.
I don't know, but in my opinion, even if it's just a girl in life, even if she's not a queen, with the life that the way she has been brought up, the way she has been raised and everything, she went against, in the beginning, her mother wishes to just stay in this camp to just protect their own people. She went against it because she wanted to fight. She wanted to save her people. And John Silver,
and that's the person that you fell in love with.
Exactly.
You cannot just then now turn around and take away the thing that made her.
Exactly.
Because that is the person.
There
is a quote that I, for some reason, I have never, I think, finished You're the Worst, the show, but I really liked it when I was watching. But there's this quote that always stood out to me. There was a secondary couple or whatever, and she was not the greatest of people, and she had this boyfriend, and he, let's say, in a way, hated who she was, but she was always that. And she said you knew it was a snake when you picked it up. What exactly did you expect? And so for him, knowing who you fell in love with and what she is and what she represents, to then go here and take it away, again, I understand where he is coming from. That is exactly the choice that I thought he was gonna make. He is just, he's a very complex character. He's not a character that you would call a hero in any sense. He is just what he is. There's so many shades of gray, dark gray even,
he fell in love with her for all those things, but at the end, those things are the things that can risk her life. And he doesn't want that anymore.
And so again, I just think in my personal opinion, because the show let me have my personal opinion about their ending as well, I don't think that relationship is ever gonna be able to be
I love that because it's
fully repaired.
How you see the show, how you see these characters, because I'm quite confident in my decisions. I don't think she's gonna trust him again. I don't think there is a possibility of her trusting him again.
I agree.
I don't think things like that can be repaired. Honestly, trust the way that she trusted him before. I don't. Again, show left it open because the show did have him at the end, and he did say, "I'm gonna wait a year, a day, however long it takes." I'm not sure if he will.
I feel he will.
I'm just saying because I don't know what he did in Treasure Island.
But oh my god, I was just thinking, again, if I was in Maddie's place, because everything he said, I'm of course. But if I was in Maddie's place and someone who broke my trust is then also when I tell him go and he's no, I'm gonna stay, you're gonna fucking go. And now again, you are not respecting my wishes. I am asking you to leave. You know what I mean? You're gonna fucking go now because now I asked you to go.
He did leave the room at that point after he told her that. We don't know what happened in the future, you know.
But that's the way that their story ended. Again, I think it's just so fucking, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so
good. It fits so well because in a way that is John's, let's say, punishment for what he has done here. That he is never gonna, I think, in my mind again, fully have her.
Yeah.
He's never gonna be able to fully have her, and like I think that is like you made your choice to take away her choice, and so like you're gonna have to just like live with it now. And I really love that. Like I think it makes John such a great and complex character.
Interesting character.
That he is not like, there were points in time when I thought that he was gonna be like a moral compass in a way to Flint. That like literally thought like that he was gonna be that he was gonna, you know, just like care for his men and just want to keep them safe, and that was gonna be it. But like there was so much more about him. Like there was so much enjoyment of that, like power and possibility, and like so much selfishness within him. Like he is such an incredibly complex character.
I loved everything that he told to Flint. Yes, about the way that when he lost her, how he completely was able to understand Flint.
Yeah.
Because he was full of rage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He wanted to kill everybody, to not have her die in vain. And then there is also another part with John, which was, again,
the part.
Yes.
The whole show.
That is concerned my dearest boy's life.
Again, like you said, he was telling him that like when he lost Maddie, he completely understood Flint at that moment and like what moves him. And Flint did tell him as well that he would have acted probably the same way that he did act if roles were reversed and that person on the island is like Miranda or Thomas, he would have done the exact same thing as John is doing. Again, we always draw so many parallels between John and Flint, and like whether they're gonna end up the same or different, like whether they're both gonna be like drowning or if someone's gonna have their head above water. And just like their circumstances are different, like John has Maddie and Flint does not have Miranda nor Thomas, and so he has nothing to lose. he does not need to stop this war in any way. He has nothing to lose.
I mean, especially Thomas, in my opinion, not because he loved Miranda any less, but because with Miranda, Flint comes. And with Thomas, he was a different person back then, you know, when he lost Thomas. Thomas is the thing that like turned his whole, made Flint.
Yeah.
You know?
But just because, again, the reason why he lost Thomas, like, was so cruel. He lost Thomas because of something that Thomas is, you know? Yeah. And what society deemed as monstrous. Like, that's why he lost him. It wasn't just like, let's say, like some guy there that, I don't know, got mad at Thomas and killed him or something like that. Like, it was nothing like that.
No.
Then if it happened like that, there wouldn't be rage for that.
No,
like,
that would
so-called civilization, you know?
Completely no.
Like,
that was because of the way that the reason is why he lost him.
Yeah, and like it's what he said in episode 1-7. You know what I mean? Like we knew nothing at that point about what moved him.
Yeah.
And yet he had that scene with Miranda when he is telling her that he is not gonna apologize to England. They have to beg for his apology because they went and they deemed them monsters just because they loved each other. That's what they did. That's what civilization did. And how can you not want to burn it all to the ground?
Yeah. Having
lost what you lost. That their scene was so fucking, I don't know what to do with that scene in the woods. Like their final moments. He told him, Flint, as usual, has my favorite fucking dialogues. I mean, a monologue. He gives a speech. When he said, I don't even want to butcher it. I think it's so good that I'm going to just read it out to all of us so we can appreciate it again. They paint the world full of shadows and then tell their children to stay close to the light, their reasons, their judgments, because in the darkness there are dragons, but it isn't true. We can prove that it isn't true. In the darkness there is discovery, there is possibility, there is freedom in the dark.
The way I love that.
Who writes this fucking show?
The way I love that.
Who writes this fucking show?
But so tragic to me. I don't know.
It's awful.
I don't know how to explain it, but like it's so tragic to me that is how his life has led, and he wasn't able at the end to do anything about it. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go get that war.
Yeah.
They did not do that.
If he
war.
died fighting for that, you know what I mean? Like, just like Wayne, if he died fighting for that cause, if he like I don't think it would never bring Thomas back, but like it is a cause worth fighting for.
I agree. It is a cause worth fighting for. It is a cause worth dying for.
Yeah.
But like the thing with that particular cause is that it's never ending, and you fight it in many different ways. Because like essentially, like what he is saying is that there's people are afraid of things because they don't know things, they understand things, and that's how like prejudice just builds.
And they can put it in a box.
And like people need someone. They also said that like people need their monsters. Like people need something that is different from them. People need to fear something and not accept something. That's how in many ways they're taught. Yeah. So many people are gonna be taught so many different things that make the world such a smaller place. Like the world is so fucking vast and people are so different and they can come in any form, but people need to have like to place things in, you know, cookie cutter boxes for it to make sense to them. And thus just like deem people monsters in their own way. And that is a thing that you cannot really, let's say, there's not going to be a war that's going to end that. There's going to be, you fight that battle every day with the people around you, with trying to teach yourself and then teach others outside of like things that maybe are not in your norm necessarily, but you try to understand. And that's just like, that is what civilization should be. Like we are all a part of it and we should all be accepting. And it's on all of us to like, just like continue that battle. So like, there was no battle for him to have won there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a war that ends. It's just a constant thing that you have to go and keep going. And you fight it. And again, in small ways. So for me, he did in a way win that battle because in my fucking mind, he's alive and well. So like for me, he did win that fight because he is still there and he did not allow them to shame him and to change him. And he is there and he loves someone and he has the person that he loves. And that is his way to win that war. That is his way to win that fight. And so, like, I don't think he lost. I think he actually won.
Yeah, I think in my mind, in that scene, I felt very sad and very bad for him, honestly. And it was tragic moment that and his voice was hard to listen, at least for me in that moment. I felt heartbreak all over again when he was saying those things. I mean, was I happy at the end? You know, because like I personally would always choose love for him, you know? Sure, but at the end of a day, that moment was a heartbreaking one for me when he was saying all those things.
Yeah.
Because it's just cruel, it's just unfair, it's just a cause worth fighting for. And sure, in today's age, you do fight it. And in any age, you do fight it in a small capacities, but with what he has been through is not the same as every other person has been through. So that, I mean, it did make him who he is at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a tragic moment for me, at least.
Yeah. But it was such an incredible fucking scene between the two of them. And like, I was certain that because they already started the storyline of like questioning where they sent the people they want to get rid of, you know? So like in my mind, I know that is started. So like there needs to be continuation of that. But like in that moment, I'm not breathing. He's like pointing the gun at him. I'm not breathing at all. I'm like, how is this gonna stop? How is this gonna end? And like John is telling him, I don't want to do this. And it just we cut. We go away from that scene. It is so quiet, but the birds fly away. You know, like maybe as in like there was a gunshot, or maybe someone just stepped there, and so like they flew away. And when he started speaking to Maddie, and like we went back and forth between that story and seeing Flint entering that place, at some point it became clear to me, I think he was speaking to Maddie, and Maddie was looking at him in a questioning way, that I'm like thinking, it clicked then that they are painting this to be ambiguous, as in like, do you believe what he's saying? Because like even Flint was telling him, how are you going to explain this to Maddie? Like maybe even if you can concoct a story that she's going to believe, she's never going to forgive you. Like they were talking about that as well. And so she is telling this story, and like it sounds like a story. You know, it sounds like something that is not really happening. And in that moment, that just like you understand that they're just gonna leave you with this. That like the things that the flashbacks, let's say, that we are getting to Flint, that can be just like us visualizing that story, and okay, or it can be the thing that is happening, and they leave you with that. That was like, that sent shivers down my spine. That like John is saying to Maddie, I am not the villain that you think he is, and then you're like left with, are you or are you not?
I have
How
never
does this
been.
end?
I just want to say that I have never been left without are you or not. Honestly,
no, but like again,
at all.
that's the story.
It's interesting to me that somebody can watch this whole show, watch that moment, and be like, "Oh no, see, this is just what could have been. Like Flint is dead. He killed him."
It's not surprising to me at all. Like I feel like, if you asked my past self, I feel like I appreciate happy endings much more now than like when I was younger.
I completely.
If you asked me maybe 5 years ago, I think I would have had a different choice, because again, the way John's character works is very fascinating to me, because like there is such a, it's like two sides of the same coin with him and Flint. And like when he is pointing that gun at Flint, it felt reminiscent of the scene with Flint and Gates, when Flint didn't want to do this to Gates either. Like Flint did not want to do it, and yet he did it because like there was something that was stronger than that. And like for John, Maddie is his most important person in his life, and so like he's gonna do anything and everything. And so like it would not be difficult for me to imagine that like he can go into those depths now to protect her, because I'm gonna tell you that Flint would go to those depths to protect Thomas and Miranda.
No,
so like I can understand like technically how you would come with that conclusion as well.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like for me, I don't think at every point in my life I would go down that path. Again, I haven't watched this show at that point, at any other point in my life, but like I do believe that like throughout this whole show, I had one vision for Flint. Like I do understand how like the show made it as a story, you know, and because that is what John's life is. And John's life has always been him telling the stories, you know, and all of it. And I think I love how it did leave you with an open ending. But like I had a vision how Flint's character is gonna end, and I had a vision how John's character is gonna end. And I have some opinions about John's and Flint's friendship. I don't think he would kill Flint in that moment for Maddie. I think when Flint killed Gates, he was led by anger still. He was led by revenge. I don't know. Even with the scene when they were sitting and John was, again, this is exactly the story that like I expected to happen. So like there is not a point in my mind. I understand maybe in somebody else's mind, maybe somebody else sees John's character completely differently. Maybe somebody else sees Flint's story completely differently, which makes perfect sense. That is how the show wanted you to see it, you know? Like everybody sees it from their own perspective. But from my perspective, this is exactly how I thought it was gonna end for Flint, but both John as well. Like when he said, like, I'm gonna sit here with you, just like what he said to Maddie, and wait and to talk to you about every single thing, and until you see it, that like it's the best option or whatever, and like I truly believed him, and also the thing is, when Flint said, like, I don't know what I would do if I had option to see Thomas or to save Thomas or whatever. Like in my moment, the way I saw him, I thought that he would choose Thomas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why there is no question in my mind. And I'm like, maybe it would be harder even for me. Maybe I think even if I didn't see Thomas and him, even if I didn't see that scene, that's still where my mind would lead this story, and that's why it's even easier, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. Like, what do you mean would happen? What do you think, let's say, would happen if Thomas was not actually in that place?
I don't know.
Yeah, because like they left that again. That's how they opened the episode, and like you saw the guy asking, and you never saw the answer. John later on told us that like, oh, the answer was yes, but like maybe the answer was no. You know what I mean? And so
yeah, but like
John had technically, let's say, then no other option
than to say that like the Thomas is there.
Basically, like maybe he could have lied to send him there, but like
that he would have.
Yeah, but like I feel like basically I feel like it's better to kill Flint than just like send him off to a place where like a kind of a prison. Like what is he gonna do there? Like there is nothing for him there. It would have been actually kind of to kill him at that moment than to just like send him somewhere. You know what I mean? So like there is that option as well. Like if he didn't think, if there was nowhere to send him to, that is then an option like where he would shoot him. Just like there's so many questions again that the show just wants you. Like it's so good to me. Like I cannot believe the way they have done it. And like later on to cut all of that happening with Jack saying like stories are true, stories are not true. It doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't really matter if it's no, I mean, of course it does, but I want to say like for the show to tell you certainly it doesn't matter because like the show was a story.
Yeah.
And like again, the power of television or like movies, any media is what you get from it.
Yeah.
Like there can be a certain way that like things are written and like there can be certain messages that writers want to convey to you. But at the end of the day, like it's what they said, there is a death of the author. Like when you give it out to the people, it becomes what the people choose it to become.
Exactly.
And then like the show just like made it for that.
Exactly. But like that's why it's perfect for me because like that's why I leaned on this side. I am the optimist. I have always, or realist, but like that was a realistic story for me, at least in my eyes. That's why you are not at the same place maybe as I am, because like I see it the way I always wanted to see it. Like I always thought this ending for Flint. I think the show has never made me think for a second that Flint's character is gonna die. Like not for a second. Like I feel like if I saw his dead body I would not believe it. Because it has like I would be disappointed if I saw his dead body because like it never made me throughout the show believe it. Where with let's say Eleanor, from the start I thought she's dying. Like from the season 2 I thought she was dying.
Yeah.
So I think that's why like it would be impossible to ask me to not completely believe that this is where, even though I don't know, like if I see that ending just as a happy ending, yes, he's with a person that he loves, but like I don't know what kind of a place that is, you know what I mean?
Is he staying there? Because like they gave money, or is he just taking him away?
I think they gave money to take him away, yeah. I think that...
No, like, we taking maybe Thomas away. I was like, did you just come to pick him up?
I don't think
Or is he staying there?
I think he's staying there.
Why not just pick him up? If you're gonna give money, why give money for yourself? Why not give money to take Thomas away? Just like bribe them and like go live in a cabin in the woods, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Unfinished. They just left.
I don't
You know what
yeah.
I mean? We
See,
can finish that off as well.
Yeah, see that those things I can finish off like that. Like I don't know what exactly happened to them, you know, like I don't know exactly how they end up, but like I think at the end he's gonna get his peace. He got his peace for I don't know how many years, you know, but he got his peace.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, I think he deserved it.
I agree.
Did somebody else see it differently? Maybe you saw it different. Like, did somebody else see it differently? Yes, the show made it possible for you if you wanted to see it differently. And I just think that's beautiful because it is written as a story.
Yeah.
And it has been written as a story. We had a scene like 3 episodes ago where Jack is talking to a girl who is reading the news.
Yeah.
And the news, who is reading the paper. Where in paper there is where she asked him about, oh my God, this great Wayne and Charles Wayne and this great Jack.
And like tabloids are telling stories
like,
that are just gonna sell better.
Yeah, and he's very happy. That's the thing that he always wanted, to leave the legacy, you know. But like they tell the stories that they want to tell. You know, I think that was the moment when he realized, and that connects to the end where he said, why does it care? It's just a story, you know.
Because, and you have no control over it.
Exactly.
How it's gonna be told, and you have a lot of control over it technically. I'm a pessimist that like tries to be an optimist. Don't mind also like being in this limbo of knowing maybe not. But I actively choose to believe in the good one. See, it's not to me like, oh no, this is definitely what happened. I can't, like, my mind does not go there. I understand that this is a limbo that they left me in, and I'm just gonna actively choose the happy ending for Flint because he deserves it.
Okay, then I don't know if I'm the optimist, because like if there's if this has happened to Eleanor, I would not be able to choose. I would go with the way that like I see the story going. Yeah, you know, with the way I see John's character ending, with the way that I see Flint's character ending. You know what I mean? So like in my opinion, like even if I love a character, let's say Eleanor, and like she ends up in a, did she survive? Did she not survive? Did she live a happily ever after? Yeah. I would not be able to like, oh, I choose that. And tomorrow when somebody asks me like, how did she, I'm like, oh, she ended with her. No, I would not be able. I'd be like, oh, she probably is dead. Yeah. Because that's probably how her story led.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the way I see the story is the way I'm gonna go with it. Yeah. Maybe if I thought the whole show that Flint's gonna survive, maybe I would think, oh, this is just like a dream. What could have happened and never did, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
So like, again, the same, if somebody so throughout the whole show thought, let's say, and saw Flint's ending, like that he deserves to end like this, that he deserves because like, he betrayed his best friend, he betrayed so many people, you know? And does he deserve to be betrayed at the end? Does it make sense for his character to be killed by his best friend, the person that he trusted the most? At the end, we did have that like scene where John is telling to Flinter, I'm gonna be your end, basically. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So like, if somebody did believe in that and saw this, like there is a big possibility they would be like, oh, you know, like this is actually that like foreshadow this, this is actually, that makes perfect sense, like, you know, like this was just a dream.
That's what I think like both versions work depending on like what you want. I'm so like, I have never been more curious to see what everyone else thinks, like where they fall into this.
I saw many more comments that like I saw that believe that Flint is in the woods with Thomas.
That more people believe in the happy ending.
I didn't see. I maybe saw 2 or 3 people that believe in the other ending. I saw many more people that believe in that ending. But like again, maybe because they, maybe it's just like you. I mean, like they choose the story that they want to believe. Yeah. I don't know.
It's so fascinating. It's just like it's so fascinating.
I mean, I can't wait to see your guys' comments.
That's what I mean. I want to know.
Like.
What do you believe?
I mean, you don't even really have to choose anything to believe. No. Like, so many shows leave the story unfinished, like open, and I adore it like that. I often adore open stories. Again, because they're for their own. interpretation.
Yeah.
So like I can get behind that as well. Like maybe some people are like, oh, it's great. Like you never know, you never find out.
Yeah. No, again, I just think for this show, just like to give you that, for you to choose yourself.
Yeah.
I think I just think it's perfect.
But like again, I love where every character ended up. No, like this show has been written for me. Honestly, written for me. Like I have no faults.
Nothing.
Like every single yes, I just want to say that I think Eleanor is my second favorite character in this show at the end of the day. But like her ending ended up tragically.
Yeah.
And I love that. Even though it did break my heart in that moment before she died, I was like, oh, I want her to survive. I want her to have her happy ending. But like at the end of the day, I'm happy with her ending. I adore how her maybe she wouldn't be my second favorite character if she didn't die in that moment. Yeah. If she didn't have that tragic ending in that moment. But like I really want to say how much I just loved every single character's story. I loved Max's story. The way Max's story ended, I just think it's perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I got chills all over my body when we saw Governor and his wife, I got chills all over my body when the camera panned to Max, who was watching it, all of that, and was smiling. And I think somebody said, maybe Jack or somebody said Jack. in the behind, like
when you don't know who the
real power is or something like that. I got chills all over my body in that moment. It was just amazing,
No, it was such a. I think all the characters ended up exactly where they needed
Jack
to be.
ended up being who Jack is.
My sweet boy.
He
cannot
planning to go for that treasure.
Like he can just like not give
enjoying every moment on the sea.
But the guy told him like enjoy it while it lasts.
And
you're always gonna miss
that
it.
was in the second to last episode. But like also Anne, like nothing can compare to me to Anne's love for Jack. Mm-mm. That's real love, not John and Maddie. That's real love because she wants to protect him. She would love to run away with him, Yeah. But like she loves him for who he is.
Yeah.
She fully accepts him for who he is, and I don't think she would change anything.
And he does too.
Yeah.
And like that's why they're my favorite relationship because like that is really unconditional.
That's unconditional.
For the two of them, it's unconditional. They're gonna bicker, like they can fight or whatever, but like you're never gonna question the love and loyalty that they have for each other.
Absolutely.
Like you're just again like the perfect example. Like when she told him when they were in the ship being held by the men from Wood Rogers, and she told him when he asks next time, let me, and he did not want to, but like she said, let me, and so like however much he did not want to, he let her.
Exactly.
He let her.
Exactly.
And that is. I love those relationships.
He let her have her own choice.
Yeah. That she wanted to have. Like, respect her agency.
Yeah. Indifference. Than John. Yeah. Who took away the whole...
It makes sense. It makes sense. He loves her. He does not want to lose her. But...
You also have to respect... He should lose her.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Yeah, like you're just like again, this is the person that you chose to love.
Yeah.
And this is who she is inside. And however much you wanna yeah. And just like it can't work. And that's again, I think his storyline, because of that ending in such an ambiguous way with her as well, is perfect. Like that to me is his like price that he has to pay. Okay, you want to keep her safe? Okay, you're keeping her safe. And she is never gonna fully trust you. You're never gonna fully you can never be what you were before this happened. Yeah. That is the price that you pay for this.
Yeah.
And that is the price that she pays that you made her pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that's brilliant. And so, yeah, I mean, Jack and Anne, just like to finish off, they have in many ways been the heart of this show for me. Like, Absolutely. They were really like the fucking beating heart of the show. Absolutely. Because like everything else, my God, like all the love that the other people had was tragic, unhealthy, rough. And yet like the two of them just had that really
No, that
pure, unconditional,
exactly.
and like constant,
like honest love. And
Yeah.
I really, by far my favorite relationship. Like nothing can compare
No,
to
nothing
that.
comes
Like,
close to them.
and like they are also the characters that like I care about the most.
Yeah.
Let's say like
Yeah.
also both of them in my top 5 favorite characters for 100%, because like I loved their relationship and I loved them who they were separately.
Yeah.
And I am so happy with how their story ended.
I know. I love that the last shot was them like unveiling the flag that they made, and that was like the only pirate flag that, what is it, Jolly Rogers, whatever it's called,
Ridiculous.
like the only flag that anyone knows. You know what I mean?
like-
I always really laughed at their flag. That was like a caricature. That was really funny to me. And like for him to like look at that flag and be like, oh, it's all right. It's the flag. It's the pirate flag. He does not even know.
Yeah.
He does not know that it's the flag.
Yeah.
Like that was so good to me. Like for it to end like that, for him like to just, you know, continue being the captain. Like continue. He is from beginning to end, just like kind of remained the same. Like has always been like a constant and didn't really change much. He always wanted that legacy. He always wanted to chase that, and he is still chasing it.
Yeah.
With Anna aside.
No, honestly, that's my favorite thing, because again, that's kind of his fault. Like, that's the thing. His fault, at least in my eyes. That's not the thing that I adore for him, because like, again, if I was him and my person, like the person that I love was in danger because of some of my actions where I'm like, I need to have this, I need to be popular, I need to, you know, like that's not like the quality but like Anne loves that and loves that about him and accepts that about him and wants to be
who she chose.
He chose him, and
that's just him. And that's just like,
and she's choosing him every day.
And every time she's like, really, like she does not stop doing that. Like she does not stop like calling him out. And that's just how they function, and it's all
it's beautiful.
I'm gonna miss them so much.
Yeah, me too. I loved seeing them in the first episode. I just want to say that.
Oh, I can't wait to watch. I feel like, yes, like Eleanor would break my heart most. Like that would, I think, really...
Would break your heart?
Yeah, I think seeing her again would break my heart most.
Broke my heart the most.
I never expected in season 1. Like, I liked her. But like, it was just like, it was fine. She was fine to me. I liked her. I was like, oh, there's potential there. But like, I didn't think much of it. The way that I completely fell in love with her. Like, she shot up to me in season 2 when everything with Vane was happening. Like, I really felt her helplessness in all those situations. And when we understood like her backstory with her dad and like what makes her move, then like, let's say her downfall or whatever in season 3 made so much more sense. And like, where everyone else, like, let's say because of all that hated her, it made me love her more.
Absolutely, which is
made me appreciate her more.
Interesting, because like
it went a different direction.
Completely different direction than I think most people, because like I liked her in season 1, I liked her in season 2, but like I remember in season 3 that like I put her in my top 5. And now at the end of season 2 when I saw her whole story, you know, like she became one of my favorite characters. Like I could even say top 2, you know, like top 2. When I say top 2, she's number 2. She's
top 2, but not number 1.
Not number 1. She's number 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I just like, again, her story is so
I love her story as a whole. I love
tragic.
It's a tragic, unfortunately, tragic storyline, and she did betray many people, which I usually wouldn't like in a character, you know. But somehow with her story, it works perfectly.
Like for this show, you have to. Everyone betrays each other, so like betrayal is kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but like to me, it's harder when I see somebody betray people that they love the most.
Yeah.
Like. No, who love them the most.
Yeah.
Who love them the most. That's very hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's very difficult. But like,
it's just how it is.
Again, I think I appreciate such complex characters. And like, characters that fall, like, again, especially when they're female characters, I feel like when they go, let's say, to like a side that would be considered like villainous to, like, you know, the main ones in the show or whatever. Like, I adore those stories, and I always feel like more protective over them because like I know the general audience is gonna be rough on them. Like that even that part even like makes me more connected to it. Because I'm like, you're just like, how is it possible that they gave you such a complex character, you cannot appreciate that it's just a complex character. And you can appreciate that for all the other characters who've done so many awful things, and you cannot appreciate it for her, you know? Like that just, that annoys me in many ways. And I feel even more protective over those characters.
I feel like of all the people, she has done less things than
That's
many of them, you know? Like I would say she has affected less lives than Flint. She has affected less lives than John.
Yeah.
She has Vane, for the love of God, you know?
Pretty fine.
In comparison
to everyone on this fucking island. Like, let's be real right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
but it is worse when you watch somebody betray people who love them the most. So,
very true.
And
I mean, again, I can understand like Vane also. Just like I can understand people seeing, hating her just for the simple fact that like she is responsible for Vane's death.
I understand.
I think that's pretty fine. Yeah. Like I think that's really fine. To just like absolutely not love her after that.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. But like I just think
I agree.
It's a shame for anyone to not appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it just makes for a better story.
Yeah.
It just makes for such a much better story. And I think she has such a phenomenal one and like one of my favorites of this show.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, the fact that it ended tragic, I think did elevate it a bit. Just because it makes sense that it has to end tragically.
For me, like 3 places.
Just like, oh, Jack, Vane, up.
Yeah.
Again, I think this show just perfectly embodies everything I love about television.
Absolutely.
Everything I love about television and like why I watch television at the end of the day is about what you get from it.
Absolutely.
What you come out of it with. Like again, that is such a power.
Stories.
That's what I mean. I love stories. I have always loved stories.
Yeah.
Like I always need to have like I there's so many people that like I know that I'm friends with that really like don't care about watching shows or movies or reading books. Like they don't care simply about like reading stories. But I have like since I was a kid, I have loved stories and like I live in stories.
Yeah.
So a lot of my life. And like I have been honestly raised on stories. I have been shaped by them.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, seeing things that I have never seen. You know, like I've grown up in the Balkans that is again predominantly white. It's very still very homophobic, you know, like no one teaches, you know, when you grow up, no one tells you, oh, there is different things that you can be. You can love no one teaches you that. But like I have legitimately been taught that through the shows that I watched. And it was never like since I was a kid. It never was a foreign thing in my mind, and it was so very simple in my mind. People often say, like, just like to take, for example, being gay. People are always like, how do you explain it to children? And I like remember being 7 and like playing TV and like seeing I think it was the L word. Or maybe it was 9. I don't know. Seeing the L word. And like, I just remember distinctly thinking, oh, you can do that. And I never questioned it again. Like, that is the extent of my, like, oh, children, how do you explain it to children? That was the extent of my, like, questioning. And, like, from then on, I was like, yeah, you can love who you love. And then I watched, like, Grace, and, like, Callie had a story, and I was very young watching that as well. And, like, it never, in my mind, I never even questioned those things. And I think for me, that was the power of television. To give you that, to give you those stories that can mean so much. And, like, this show with all the storylines that it had was so impactful in so many ways.
I agree.
And they just gave you that. Like it really, it more than any other show, I feel like audience is a big part of how they wrote the show.
I agree, but like I just think they wrote their characters perfectly. Like that's my favorite thing also about this show. Is that like they really took time to explain you why these characters are like this and why do they think like this. And like I said, you can not love their actions, not love whose side they're on, what they're fighting for. But like I do believe that you can always understand them. I do believe that like show really really wrote it in a way that like you can understand where they're coming from and why they became who they are. And I honestly think that was my favorite part of this show.
Yeah.
Just like its characters and the stories they write about them.
Yeah. What a joy to give to the world.
Honestly.
Like, if you're gonna make art, like, what a way to make it.
Exactly.
You know, what a thing to give.
He talked about some really important and big subjects, you know?
Like, again, for a character like Flint, who you meet, and like, for it to learn that he is, in that time, even a bisexual man, and that like so many of his, like who he is, like that rage that he felt, was because of like that love that was taken away from him because of hate, because of prejudice, that like all who he is, and like he appears, like when you just like look at him, he just like appears like such a badass. And like I remember comments now when it was like revealed, the thing with Thomas, how so many people were like taken off guard and like didn't like it because like, I mean, because they're homophobic first and foremost, I guess, but like just because like Flint can be the like the stereotype of Flint can be like for guys, like for some like an audience, a character that would not like Flint being, you know, like a type of, I mean, he was never that, but like you can maybe prescribe to him like characters like Negan or something like that guy that is violent or scary and things like that, but like he really wasn't that, because like where his tragedy stems from is from love. And so like I just,
my favorite type of stories.
Exactly. Like to give him that, like or, to do that
or
story.
Absence of a parent.
Oh, God,
another favorite type of story. It's a pattern.
Losing, my favorite. Like you need to have a tragic backstory for it to click for me. You know what I mean? Like it has to. And all these characters, there was not every fucking character
except John.
We don't know what John fucking had gone through. I mean, but like a tragedy is a tragedy, and like it shapes you in many ways. I mean, it shapes you in all the ways. And they just gave you an abundance of characters. With such stories.
And it takes time to build even side characters, you know, that like you really grow to care.
That you just simply just fall in love with. Like there is not a simple flaw of this show, if anyone asks me. Everyone was right.
So,
everyone was right.
Very sad that we have finished it off, that we have finished this show.
It's not even clicking for me.
It is.
I still need,
because like the story
I feel like a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it clicks when we post the final one. Like a lot of it, again, a lot of this show as well was the audience. That like there were so many comments and so many thoughts, and everyone, I loved reading.
Absolutely.
I loved reading all the thoughts, and I loved how many people started watching this with us, and like how many of them fell in love with the show just as much as we did. I feel like when we just post this, like when you're seeing this, then I feel like, and when I read the comments and I read what everyone else also thinks of the ending, what they think, I think that's when it's gonna that's when it's gonna feel like closure. Because like right now I'm still like, it's still not, the door is not fully closed.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and so like when we post this, like a lot of it is that then
so in a few days
in a few days it's gonna end for me. And then I can just start it over again, and it's never really gonna end because stories never really leave you.
Exactly.
I like legitimately, I was just like thinking about that, how like I was thinking about that the other day, how like literally all you are consists. You just consist of all the people that love you and all the people that you love and all the stories that you cared for. Like that is literally who you are. It shapes you in so many ways. And like this is one of those stories that like I think definitely shapes you as a person.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I have like nothing. I can tell you nothing. I will really never be over it.
No.
And now I'm just gonna be everyone else. Like everyone that was like always begging us to watch. I'm just gonna do that to real people. I already
started the circle. Like
I'm already just like, let me go
I'm on
to
2 people, soon to be 4. Afterwards, hopefully 5.
My sister is never gonna agree to watch it. My sister does not like gray characters. She's never gonna agree to watch this. I can convince other friends.
Yeah, you can.
I can convince everyone.
That's our job
else.
from now on. And hopefully people on YouTube who watch this are also gonna be, oh look, Lola and Milena are watching this. Maybe I should play it. You know.
I hope that like.
And we're gonna say it in many other episodes,
reactions,
and many other shows. We're gonna be like, what Black Sails?
Yeah.
If you want to see this good story, oh, it's a Black Sails.
I literally.
That's a story.
If we convince, like, there are people that have started this with us. I'm proudest of that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's an accomplishment.
10 people started this because of us.
Yeah.
And got this. Oh.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is like, I mean, those are my favorite comments in general. Like, also, like, when we finish something else, like, when people are like, oh, I started this because you started it, and now I love this so much. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
And so I have just loved this show so much.
Me too.
And that's it, guys.
That's it, guys.
What do we watch
Thank
after
you
this?
for going on this journey with us.
Yeah. What comes after this, I think we're just gonna have to switch it up because of June.
Exactly.
And the shows are coming in June.
It's gonna come some longer show.
Yeah, so I think we're just gonna do a short one right now. Twice a week.
Or something like that.
Something like that. And then we'll figure it out as we go, guys.
We'll have to talk about that, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, by the time you watch this, I guess we will figure it out.
Yeah, no, that's in 2 days. We will do this in 2 days.
Oh my god, you do this in 2 days. Yes, but then we have to after that in 3 days something, we have to post something. No, we're not going to post something. There's going to be one break. Because it's Easter for us. Is it for you as well? No, it's not. It was Easter for them before. We're on the different calendar. We're 2 weeks after. So 2 weeks after your Christmas is our Christmas. 2 weeks after your Easter is our Easter. So it's our Easter.
Yeah. So next week we start something new.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you.
Maybe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.